you quite believe the events of the last few days?
No, I have never seen anything like it in all my time covering politics or being in the news. And I said after that debate on Thursday night, he's done. His candidacy ended tonight. And I stand by that. At this point, Piers, he's like the deer that got hit in a catastrophic road accident that has a few extra steps in him as he runs off to die on the side of the road. And I don't mean literally die in Biden's case, but his candidacy is dead. Whether he knows it or not, he's just doing those last final steps. Yeah. Bit by bit, the Democrats are turning on him. The congressional leaders, the donors, the governors, everyone's requiring reassurance. The dam is already breaking with some top Democrats coming out openly saying he's got to get out.
In a recent episode of Piers Morgan's show, a captivating discussion unfolded as Megyn Kelly laid bare her views on Dr. Jill Biden. The exchange was nothing short of electrifying, leaving Piers Morgan and many viewers in utter disbelief.
Then it may be they can't do it, under the rules of the Democratic Party. Where does Jill Biden sit in all this, Dr. Biden? Because I watched that debate from start to finish with a mounting sense of real bemusement why any spouse, a younger spouse in particular, would allow their older, beloved other half to be humiliated like that on a global stage.
The topic at hand, the role and actions of Jill Biden, particularly her insistence on being referred to as Dr. Biden and her apparent pursuit of political influence.
The only people who get to be called doctor legitimately, I understand, no disparaging of the degree, are medical doctors. If you can't say, yes, I will resuscitate him when he has a heart attack on a plane, stop using that label. When you get introduced at a book club or on The View, which is what she does, all right? And I do think it's tied to what we're seeing now, the big reveal about her. She's power hungry. She wants it.
Megyn Kelly, a well-known figure in conservative circles, has never been one to shy away from controversy. Her career, spanning from her time at Fox News to her brief stint at NBC, has been marked by her bold takes and willingness to challenge the status quo.
And a couple of years ago, I did a bit that went viral on how she insists on being called Dr. Jill Biden everywhere. And all these left-wingers got upset with me. She is a doctor. She's got her PhD. She's in education, what have you.
Kelly's primary critique centered on Jill Biden's insistence on being addressed as Dr. Biden. She questioned why Jill, who holds a doctorate in education, insists on this title in non-academic settings.
I don't make fun of that degree. My own father had that degree. But my father would never have insisted somebody call him Dr. Kelly. He went by professor, and that was a title he'd earned. Why does she insist on it? Because she's power hungry, because she has a small fractured ego that she needs built up. She needs the affirmation of strangers to give her an honorarium that really means almost nothing.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with earning and using a PhD title. However, Kelly argued that this insistence seems less about academic recognition and more about an inflated ego and a desire for power. This is where Piers Morgan found himself nodding in agreement, seemingly shocked by the sheer audacity of Jill Biden's actions.
What did we see from her on debate night? We saw her take the stage and guide the president of the United States down the stairs like a mama would of a toddler, like you and I both did when our kids were babies. And then after the debate, that clip that was everywhere with her saying, "You did it. You answered all the questions." Again, speaking to her the way I speak to my dog.
Yes.
The conversation took an even sharper turn when Kelly discussed Jill Biden's role during Joe Biden's public appearances, particularly during debates and speeches. Kelly described instances where Jill guided Joe like a parent would a toddler, even likening her tone to how one might speak to a pet.
I think she's been exposed as a power-hungry aspirant herself to political power. She is on the cover of Vogue magazine right now.
Yeah.
Why? Because she wants to promote herself. She tweeted out a photo of herself sitting in the president's chair not long ago when he was preparing for the G7 meeting with his chair hanging over the back of the chair. She's not the damn president. Get out of the chair. No one wants you at the G7.
This portrayal of Jill as a controlling figure behind the scenes painted a stark picture of someone who might be overstepping her bounds, leveraging her husband's position for her own gain.
When he sits on command.
It really was.
This is the leader of the free world. She knows how infirm he is. She wants a shadow presidency. And let me tie it to one other thing. The reports are out this week that Hunter Biden,
I know, this is incredible that he's advising him.
Piers Morgan, known for his often direct and unfiltered commentary, couldn't help but express his astonishment at these revelations. He questioned the ethics and optics of such behavior, especially when it involves the First Lady of the United States.
Is at the White House and attending all the meetings with the president.
A crackhead.
As what, our new shadow president? Right, exactly. Because Joe Biden can't do it. And so on deck is the drug-addled, corrupt felon son? Hard no. This whole family needs to be bounced out of this office.
The discussion touched on the broader implications of Jill Biden's actions, suggesting that her conduct might be indicative of a deeper issue within the Biden administration, one of power plays and behind-the-scenes manipulation.
Their judgment has been settled already, pronounced already. We don't need a federal trial on it. So that one just died, thanks to the U.S. Supreme Court. It's all but dead. It's limping, but it's dead. The Mar-a-Lago case will go forward unless Trump wins, and then he can just pull the DOJ off of it. He'll be the president. He gets to just say, stop. The New York case is over, but for sentencing, which it's not going to be severe. If there's a jail sentence, it will be suspended. Trump's not going to serve any time in jail. None at all. And the Atlanta case got stopped thanks to Fani Willis hopping in the sack with their co-counsel.
The conversation wasn't just a critique of Jill Biden's personal choices. It also delved into the controversial history surrounding her and Joe Biden. Kelly brought up the now infamous incident where Joe Biden allegedly confused the president of Ukraine with Vladimir Putin, highlighting what she and many others see as clear signs of cognitive decline. Piers Morgan's reaction to this line of questioning was telling. He seemed genuinely taken aback, perhaps realizing the gravity of the situation for the first time. The idea that Jill Biden might be pursuing her own political ambitions at the expense of her husband's well-being was a narrative that resonated with him, sparking a broader discussion on the responsibilities and ethical considerations of those close to powerful figures.
The lawfare against Trump and the agreement to do this debate.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessary. They easily could have said, we don't debate convicted felons.
Right.
He didn't do the debates in the primaries, and we're not debating him. It would be beneath the office of the presidency to participate in any platforming of that man. And his entire base, and probably most independents, would have said, well, we expected it. They didn't have to do it. They actually thought he could get out there. Do you remember Joe Biden out there a couple months ago? Make my day, pal.
Yes.
Kelly didn't stop there. She also touched on the media's role in this narrative, suggesting that many outlets have been complicit in shielding the Bidens from scrutiny. This, she argued, has allowed Jill Biden to operate without the kind of public accountability that would typically come with her position. Piers Morgan, often critical of media biases, echoed this sentiment, adding that the public deserves transparency and honesty, especially from those in power.
Released a video challenging Trump to do this debate. Make my day. I hear you free on Wednesdays, because he was in the midst of that New York trial when they had Wednesdays off. The brashness, the attempt to be the new John Wayne out there, like, I'll see you at the corral, little sucker. As long as it's between the hours of 11 and 4.
The conversation concluded with a discussion on the future of the Biden administration. Kelly expressed doubts about Joe Biden's ability to continue as president, given the mounting evidence of his cognitive decline. She suggested that Jill Biden might be preparing for a shadow presidency, a notion that Piers Morgan found both fascinating and troubling. The idea that Jill could be positioning herself as a key player in the administration, all while the public remains largely unaware, was a revelation that left Morgan and many viewers with more questions than answers. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.